saw the explosion, yeah?
I read about the explosion. If I saw it, I'd be in Israel.
Videos as well. I know, Larry, you've seen the videos. Just for the audience, what's your analysis? I'll kind of give you the kind of, I'm not sure if you know everything I'm about to say, but I'll kind of give you a quick overview. So we got reports. I was doing a live interview, and I got a video of the explosion. Immediately, to me, it looked like something pretty significant. And then we got reports, unconfirmed reports, and then we got them kind of confirmed afterwards, is that the search and rescue operations and emergency services were not allowed to the location. And then we got more footage coming in. You're going to see some of it play now as I give the overview. Then we got information that was, according to some Israeli media, is being investigated. Then they said it's a planned detonation. In the region is called, I'll read out the region's name later. I think that's less important. So it was a planned detonation, but that didn't add up because there was no warning given in advance. It's way too big for a planned detonation. Maybe you disagree with me, Larry. And why would there be emergency services scrambled for a planned detonation? And then we got a report finally that, according to Israeli media, the explosion has been attributed to the Tomer company, a defense company, a government defense firm that develops and manufactures rocket systems used across air, land, and naval weapon systems, including engines for Arrow 2 and Arrow 3 interceptor missiles. Reporters were initially instructed to remove coverage entirely, then permitted to publish only without audio, before finally being allowed to report the incident involved a government to report that the incident involved a government defense company. And we've only got 3 videos so far. Out of that massive explosion, all the people around, only 3 videos have gone out. So what's your thoughts, Larry? Because the timing of it is very suspicious.
Well, I agree with you that this is not what they'd call a controlled demolition or detonation. That if you're going, if you found some ordnance from the previous strikes, number one, why are you detonating it at night? Rope it off, wait till daylight so you can actually see what you're doing, be very clear on what you're doing. There was no emergency to do that. So it looks like, most likely, based upon the nature of this plant, it was probably, there was either an accident or deliberate sabotage inside the plant, which caused that explosion. Because your instincts are right that the size of that, the size of the blast and then the ensuing column that went into the sky, this was significant. So this was a huge explosion, not a minor explosion.
Yeah, pause, Lisa. Pause at where the plumes are. Yeah, so if this is obviously it's a planned detonation is no longer the story now. It's an explosion at the defense factory. So the question is whether it's an accident or whether it's a planned, whether it's a sabotage by Iran. What's your instinct? Because obviously we can't know for sure. But again, accidents like this are not common at all in Israel. Number one, number two, just the timing of it. We've seen so many sabotages happen in Iran by Mossad and U.S. intelligence. Now, for the first time, we may be seeing it the other way around.
Yeah, no, it's possible. I mean, I really, at this point, it'd just be speculation that it was either accident or sabotage. Those are the two logical outcomes. What I'm pretty sure it is not, that this was a deliberate strike by Iran to preempt something. I think Iran's keeping its
powder dry. New York Times says that 2 days' time the military operation will start. So when they say preempt something, New York Times tell us exactly what they're preempting, but possibly.
Yeah, I mean, some of the reports that the United States is, refining its plans about what the plans have been, in the words of a friend of mine, locked and loaded for several weeks. So this not, they're not having to scramble around and say, let's come up with some new plans for President Trump. Those plans are already, they're already in the cookbook, so to speak. So this accident could have been precipitated because Israel was stepping up efforts to try to prepare additional weapons to use against Iran. And that's why you could see it happening late on this is late on Saturday. Actually, it's almost Saturday morning there, but this is the Jewish Sabbath. So Why are they working overtime on the Sabbath? Well, because they're not religious. But lost your audio there.
I muted myself. Sorry. So, but I was saying that the Sabbath point is a very good point. I forgot it's a Sabbath. If this is a sabotage, I'm leaning there. I'd say I'm putting it at 70% sabotage, to be honest. 60 to 70% sabotage. It just sounds so unlikely to be an accident at this time. As you say, it's a Sabbath as well. It could be an accident, but just the timing of it makes it unlikely. So just based on that fact alone.
Okay.
And other factors.
Why do you say what is explain the timing aspect to me as you?
We're talking about a imminent attack by the U.S. and Israel right after Xi's visit, according to multiple reports. And Israel saying, whether truthfully or not, saying in attack, and Trump is going to attack Israel and Iran, and they're preparing for it. So that could be more of a warning, maybe by Iran against Israel to, hey, ease it up, stop the war drums. We're trying to reach some sort of agreement. Arachi said. Arachi put out a statement actually today that kind of is in line with this. He's like, I'll expand on why I'm speculating such as well in a second. He says, I don't think it's necessary. Hold on, where is it? All right, he did put out a statement. Oh, there it is. Today he said, that's Arachi, there are those who want to drag Washington into war once again, and I hope wisdom will prevail and that we will pursue diplomacy to negotiate a solution. But again, there are those who want to drag Washington into war once again. Obviously, Iran's been pointing at Israel all this time. So that's number one. Number two is that we do have Iran now being a lot more forceful in warning in advance. When the Operation Freedom, whatever happened, immediately they went off at the Gulf, at the UAE, and struck the UAE. And their explanation is like the UAE is trying to encourage the US back into this war.
Right.
And this is our warning to the UAE that we will strike you. And it's also our warning to the US that if you try something again, we will escalate. That's number two. And number three is just Iran is feels like they're in a much stronger position where instead of, for the last few years, they've always been waiting and responding to escalations. I think that calculus has changed. The same way they've understood restraint hasn't worked after getting into this war. They might be in a position now where waiting to be attacked and retaliating and giving them the escalation dominance will no longer be our strategy. So, putting these three together, I seriously think it's Iran either sabotaging as a warning shot, because we saw sabotages in Iran, by the way, even ongoing sabotages apparently in Iran happening. So it could be either Iran saying, stop sabotaging us, number one. Number two, it could be a warning shot to Israel. Don't even think about it. Or number three saying, hey, we know you guys are planning to attack, just letting you know this time around, we're going to be responding very differently. So there's kind of multiple kind of thoughts on that point. Obviously, it could be sabotaged by Hezbollah or someone else, maybe something internal in Israel, or obviously it could definitely be an accident. 40% likelihood it's an accident. But kind of these pieces together, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a sabotage.
Well, the reason I discount the sabotage is, again, listening to Arachi's statement, it is the United States is getting dragged into a war. If Iran initiates a combat, if they launch the attack first, even though from a strategic standpoint, from a military standpoint, from a I won't say diplomatic, but at least from a military and strategic standpoint, it's entirely justified. But by remaining in the victim status, where they are the aggrieved party, they're not the party striking first, which then justifies retaliation. They're the party that are holding fire. They're warning people, do not attack us. But if you attack us, we're going to retaliate, and we'll retaliate in force. So that's why I would think, particularly launching some operation like this, with such a massive explosion. When you go back and look at the videos of all the different missiles that Iran fired into Israel during the first 5 weeks of the war, we never saw an explosion like this. I mean, this thing was huge, which, given the location that they're now identifying, leads me to believe that, yes, it was most likely an internal mistake.